Okay, stop the video. I got so much nostalgia right now I'm about to pass out. Have you ever wondered if the games you played as a kid were actually good? Or was it simply that you were a kid? And before anyone freaks out, this is not a Pokemon hit piece. I love this franchise. I still remember getting a Game Boy Color when I was in second grade for my birthday. My mom was super sneaky and wrapped the Game Boy Color in a pair of jeans before giving it to me as a gift. She totally fooled me. And at my birthday party, my friend Chris, who I don't remember at all anymore because I was in second grade, gave me Pokemon Red. If you're out there, Chris, God bless you. I played the heck out of Pokemon Red. It was really one of my first gaming experiences as a kid that I actually still remember. I, of course, immediately chose Charmander. Charizard Chads, post up in the chat, boys! And I remember completely neglecting all of their Pokemon just to train that Charizard as much as possible. I made my Charizard into an absolute unit. I think Pokemon worked for me as a kid for really two reasons. First off, you get these cute little creatures that, as you train, become stronger and become really more powerful versions of themselves. I think that idea of self-improvement was really important to me as a kid. And then while you're training these pets, you go on this great adventure through different cities, meeting new people, with everything on this adventure with a simple goal: becoming the best. And that made every battle feel important. Every level up on my Charmander felt like a milestone worth celebrating. And while this fantasy was powerful enough to pull me in, it really only worked for one reason. Okay. A. Here's the tricky part. Down. Okay, now I got this. A. Yes! The gameplay in a turn-based RPG is just so incredibly simple that even a snot-nosed kid like me could figure it out. And even the strategy of Pokemon is very simple. You quickly figure out different moves are more powerful against different kinds of Pokemon, and in general, moves that you learn at a higher level are stronger. And half the moves are useless. Pokemon worked for me as a kid because it never asked too much of me. You hit attack, you leveled up, you became champion. This removal of complex game design allowed it to be so accessible that I could interact with it and truly fall in love. For me, that meant fire blasting and killing everything. When I came back to these games as an adult, it just wasn't the same, and that was kind of tragic for me. Charizard wasn't just a fire-breathing lizard. He was my friend, and I didn't want to betray him. So I tried to add complexity into the game by crafting new teams that would be filled with all my favorite Pokemon, by doing a little bit of research and finding out that those useless moves weren't actually so useless. But what I found is that this trivialized the game even more. A game that can be completed with one Pokemon and one move doesn't become more complicated by adding in complex strategy. It just really exposed how simple the game was at its core. My experience with Pokemon as an adult actually almost killed the entire genre of turn-based RPGs for me. I used to think that all turn-based RPGs were just glorified kids' games because there was no complex mechanics that you had to understand to play them. And then I played Expedition 33. Now, I do want to stress that I think my issue with turn-based RPGs is a uniquely me problem. There are many different turn-based RPGs, and so many fully adult humans love them all. I personally just find them a little bland. But Expedition 33 was like a gateway drug for people like me. The simple addition of a dodge and parry system made it more interactive so that when it wasn't my turn, I wasn't too bored. And what happened next was kind of fascinating because I found myself really engaged with this Lumiere system that allowed you to customize your characters and put combinations together. I came for the mechanics, but I stayed for the strategy. And that's when I recognized that the problem wasn't RPGs as a whole. It was Pokemon's unique design goals. I don't think Pokemon has enough depth to actually be satisfying to an adult who's never played it before. And that's a good thing. Pokemon wasn't made for me as an adult. It was made for me when I was 8, when I got my first console and a game from a very generous kid down the street. If Pokemon was an incredibly complex game with intricate strategy and complex game mechanics, I would have never had the chance to fall in love with it. And I think that nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and it makes us care about things we wouldn't usually care about. But that doesn't make the subject matter irrelevant. What was important to you as a kid still matters. It becomes a part of who you are. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you played Pokemon today for the first time as an adult, do you think it'd still work for you? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more reviews like this and playthroughs of different classic games, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, peace!